Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Mitch. Good Sunday evening to you all. Hope you guys are feeling well out there and having a great ending to your day, great ending to your weekend. About to enter a very, at least start to your work week coming up, and that's what we're going to talk about. We're going to get very detailed on the evolution of this nor'easter that's about to crank up as early as tomorrow. We're going to talk about the evolution of it, like I just said, compare a few model runs, but for you folks wondering, obviously, how much snow that you are going to get, you are really going to enjoy this video as I'm going to break down all the model guidance, and then I'm going to compare it against what the National Weather Service is showing. And I'm not just going to show you broad regions. I'm going to get pretty zoomed in when we talk about the National Weather Service to the point where it's actually going to show you towns and cities on these maps. So I really think you folks up here in the Northeast, New England, are going to really like this video. It's just going to be a longer one. I'm going to have timestamps up so you can go to your individual areas to help you folks out. So very detailed. It took me about an hour to put this together, so I'm going to try to help you guys out and really try to figure out what this is going to do. I'm going to go on and tell you, for folks around the New York City area, this is going to be a tough forecast. Boston also, and basically everybody that's kind of hugging the coastline, and I'm talking about Connecticut, Rhode Island, Southeast Mass, it's going to be a tough one, okay? Someone's going to get it wrong, way wrong, one way or the other. Okay, so, full disclaimer there, it's just going to happen, But with that being said, if you guys have not subscribed, certainly consider doing that. Like the video if you like it, guys. When you like that video, it helps these videos get on out there, hit the algorithm. And I can tell you, not one of these videos talking about the nor'easter has hit the algorithm yet. And I can always tell when a video hits the algorithm. You pretty much compare it with how many subscribers you got and how many views your video is getting. And just talking on this nor'easter is not really, I think, hit a lot of people in the Northeast. I don't even think I've had a video that's got over like 11 or 12,000 views, especially over the last several days, which is cool. But I can tell you I'm steadily picking up subscribers, which means we're adding to the family for different areas of the country. It's really awesome to see. So thank y'all for that. And if you guys got anything that I can pray about or pray over, as always, please put it in the comments below so I can do that and so others can do so too. Let's look at watches and warnings. Winter storm warnings up. By the time some of you folks watch this, some of these winter storm watches might be upgraded to warnings. So the pink is winter storm warnings. This does include Albany. It includes the Catskills. It includes the Berkshires, the Worcester Hills. It was really funny. I was cracking up reading y'all's comments. Everybody was so nice. I think I pronounced it Worcester. And definitely sounded that R pretty hard here. But I know you folks in Massachusetts say things much different, just like us here in the South say things much different. But I think a lot of people were saying it was spelled like almost W-U-H-S-T-A, so Worcester Hills. All right, so that's going to be a favorite area. The Berkshires and then the Catskills are going to be favorite areas. There's higher elevation areas, mountains, more so just hills right into here. So you got winter storm warnings up for those regions. This does include one county in northeast Pennsylvania, which is the Poconos kind of area. And it does include one county where these hills extend all the way in the northwest Connecticut. These will be favorite areas. Winter storm watches up for Boston. No winter storm watches for New York City or Long Island. But a few counties here in northern New Jersey do have winter storm watches. So we'll see what happens. This will look totally different when we're waking up tomorrow morning. So we're going to jump right into this, guys. And so what we're going to do is we're going to talk about the evolution of this storm first. Okay, we're going to talk about the European. We're going to talk about the GFS, the HRRR model, and we might even go over the NAM. We're going to do some of this on the fly here. So the latest European from a couple hours ago will start off tomorrow morning. You already have on and off light snow, kind of making its way through Pennsylvania, except southeast PA, you'll be all rain. You're already snowing a little bit here in northern areas of New Jersey. And then we're getting into, I would say, Monday midday. This is when the snow starts to pick up in intensity somewhat here in the Catskills, right up here, just outside the Hudson Valley. It's still raining in New York City. All rain for most of Connecticut, unless you're in these higher elevations here in western Mass and northwest Connecticut. We continue to get, let's take it all the way basically to Monday evening. The snow starts to pick up a little bit more. You see the dark blues starting to show up, but it's all rain in New York City still and all of New Jersey, except up here in the Poconos and northeast Pennsylvania, northern New Jersey, and starting to pick up here in the Catskills. Okay, we keep rolling. When we get to about the middle of the night tomorrow night, I'm talking about like midnight, Monday night, This is when it starts to knock on the door of the rain snow line here in New York City based off the Euro. All right, so northern New Jersey, you're switching solidly to all heavy snow, snowing like crazy here in these higher elevations in southern New York state here, snowing in basically the northern half of Connecticut, but you're still hanging on the rain in the middle of the night, Monday night, snowing for all of central and western Mass, but Boston and most of Rhode Island and certainly southeast Mass is hanging on to all rain, snow picking up in southern Vermont and New Hampshire. You keep this going, and we'll take it to Tuesday morning. This is when it really, really cranks up for the Catskills and the Berkshires and the Worcester Hills, okay? But look at New York City down here, guys. You still haven't switched all the rain. I'm sorry, you haven't switched all the snow yet. You're still raining on the Euro on Tuesday morning. And then as we're getting into about midday Tuesday, you're knocking on the door, switching to heavy snow here in Boston. And then you finally switch to some snow in New York City and western Long Island. But at this point, you got an all-out heavy, wet snow falling in all those regions I just mentioned, southern Vermont, New Hampshire. All of New York State might be having snow falling all the way to Rochester. I don't know if y'all sound out the R in Rochester, New York. You probably don't. Rochester, and snowing in Buffalo, snowing in Syracuse, Watertown, Albany. It's snowing very heavily potentially here in southern Vermont. You take it all the way to Tuesday afternoon. It switches to heavy, wet snow in Boston. And then this is when you guys could really pick up your snow, I think, Tuesday p.m. in Boston. This is when the epic snowstorm really cranks up for you guys. But, I mean, look at all this heavy snow still being thrown back all the way into the Finger Lakes area. Binghamton still seeing snow, snowing at a moderate rate Tuesday evening in New York City. And then this low pressure is just steadily deepening and almost pushes back towards Boston. And you're getting some type of huge band of snow late Tuesday evening into Boston, Southeast Mass, Cape Cod, Martha's Vineyard, Nantucket. It's snowing like crazy, snowing all the way back down to the Jersey Shore, northeast Pennsylvania. It's still snowing Tuesday night, still snowing, and it's even still snowing as you're waking up Wednesday morning for these areas. And then it starts to lighten up. And I know I didn't mention Maine too much, but I really think for southern areas of Maine, it really cranks up Tuesday afternoon for southern areas of Maine. Then Tuesday evening, it starts to blast into the down east areas of Maine and then makes it as through all the way Maine. I think a big old band of snow will make it all the way up to Syracuse. I'm sorry, not Syracuse, but Caribou, Maine, into northern Maine. But of course, if you're in these southern regions of Maine, more snow will fall. Okay, let's back this all the way up and let's switch it to the latest GFS, which should be running right now, and it is. So we're in range of the 18Z GFS, hot off the press. Here it comes. We're getting into Monday morning. Same kind of deal. Some light to moderate snow into eastern and northeast PA. This starts to overspread Monday afternoon. Could start snowing at a moderate rate here in the Poconos, the Catskills. And starting to rain, switch to snow. You might just start out as all snow here in the Berkshires. And then we keep it going. Heavy rain falling in New York City, Long Island. Could be a wind-driven rain Monday evening. And then as we're getting into the middle of the night, Monday night, around midnight, you guys see this dark blue here, snowing like crazy 2 to 3 hours north of New York City into these higher elevations. Snowing all the way up to the Adirondacks. Snowing all the way back to Syracuse, Binghamton. Snowing pretty good from central to western and north to Mass and northwest Connecticut. Same thing, southern New Hampshire, Vermont, snowing. And we'll take it all the way to Tuesday morning. I don't understand why it's showing this little weird glitch here where it's mixing. This is snow and this weird low pressure right over here. There's some big-time convective feedback. These models are almost confused, thinking there's almost going to be like a double-barrel low, which a lot of times models show this, but a huge amount of the time that never ends up verifying, which means there's like dual low pressures. But we'll see what happens. But, I mean, Tuesday morning, it's still raining in New York City to Boston. And these coastal regions of Long Island, Connecticut, and Rhode Island, and southeast Mass. And then you go to about midday Tuesday, you switch to snow, but there's not a lot of heavy precipitation here in New York City. Okay? You switch to all snow finally in Boston, fully Tuesday afternoon. New York City, it starts to pick up snow. And then the low pressure gets kind of pushed back, kind of like the Euro, back towards southern New England. But I can tell you, the latest GFS isn't quite as crazy with the heavy snow. It's a big shift east, it looks like, which brings more cold air into the equation for areas like in southeast New England and southern New England, but in general, doesn't push as much precipitation into the equation. So that being said, we're getting into late Tuesday evening. Some very heavy snow gets thrown back into Boston and just south of Boston into southeast Mass, where I think it really picks up. But I mean, it's snowing all the way back to the Finger Lakes, all the way back to Buffalo. Okay, this gets kind of pushed in, and then Wednesday morning, it begins to lighten up with some lingering snow showers. What's it showing for the latest long-range HRRR model? We'll take a look at that really quick here, and we'll switch it to the 18Z, which goes only 48 hours out. So I do want to let you guys know it doesn't show the entire duration of the storm. So we'll go all the way out to, no, that's 19Z. You need to go to 18Z. We'll go all the way out to Monday morning. Oh, here goes my mouse not working. Monday morning. Like I said, this is the HRRR model, high resolution model. It's going to do a good job of trying to figure things out for us. We keep this going. All rain in New York City, most of New Jersey, but it's picking up on those higher elevations in northern New Jersey, the Poconos and the Catskills. Certainly, it's snowing, but it's also picking up on some of these valley regions, these lower elevation areas where it's going to remain rain. Okay, but all of a sudden, crashes the snow for the Berkshires, the Worcester Hills. It just sounds weird saying that, guys. I know y'all are probably cracking up on me here. Monday evening, heavy, potentially wind-driven rain for Long Island, New Jersey, but you're starting to switch to very heavy wet snow up here in the Poconos, Catskills. But still, I mean, the latest HRRR model, you're still struggling with mixing and downsloping here in Albany, and you're still raining with a little bit of warm air getting trapped here. But I think if you stop it right here, this is 1 a.m. This is 1 a.m. Monday night, Tuesday morning, okay? It picks up on these higher elevations here very well, and right here very well, and right here very well, okay? But keep this going. We'll get all the way up to Tuesday morning, switching to all the way to heavy, wet snow, almost knock on the doorstep here in Boston, snowing for most of Connecticut. But look, the extreme coastal regions hanging on the rain. If you're a coastal community, you got to wonder, when will you switch? This is some very heavy snow getting thrown all the way back into Syracuse, the Finger Lakes region. But look at this little low pressure that forms. You'll see a little spin right into here that almost gyps New York City. Now, for you folks in New York City, do not stress out over this. This run will look totally different probably next time. But we'll stop it on the last frame of the HRRR model, which is for, takes us to about 2 p.m. Tuesday afternoon. And the HRRR model has moderate to heavy snow making it all the way to the southern tip of New Jersey, all the way into Delaware, all getting thrown all the way back into Maryland, because it basically develops a double barrel low, pretty much a dual low pressure right into here outside of this one. So therefore, you get more precipitation that kind of blossoms and gets thrown back southwest. But it is absolutely unloading snow in Boston at 2 p.m. Tuesday based off the HRRR model. Okay, snowing very hard in New Hampshire, Vermont, and starting to snow very heavily in these lower elevations in the valleys of New York State. But look at this band that starts to blast. When I tell you it's going to abruptly start in the coastal regions of Maine, I mean it. Tuesday morning sometime, you're going to have a huge band of snow that gets pushed inland, and this is as far out as the model goes. So we'll look at the 12 km NAM. What does this look like? Well, I feel like this is a pretty good look for a lot of people who are winter weather fans. And we'll start this off. We'll actually start this off around Monday afternoon, tomorrow afternoon. And then we'll start to make our way all the way to Tuesday morning. It's switching from rain to all snow in New York City. Switches it to snow much more quicker here in Boston. It's snowing from Buffalo through the Finger Lakes, through Binghamton, Scranton. Even snowing back at State College. Snowing in New York City, New Jersey. All of Connecticut pretty much seeing snow, struggling in Long Island, snowing in all of Rhode Island, southern Vermont, New Hampshire. And look, shows that big band of snow. There's some high confidence. There's going to be a huge band that moves onshore into the coastal regions of Maine. I mean, it's going to dump 1 to 2, 3 inch per hour rates, but just stop it right here. Tuesday around 2 p.m., the NAM just is hammering all of southern New England, all of New England, all the way down the I-95 corridor, all the way to New Jersey. Even got snow being thrown back into Philadelphia, all of Long Island seeing heavy snow at this point. And you keep this going and it just rages all night. Finally, you lose the grip of the snow Tuesday evening, but it's still cranking up here on Boston. And the NAM really NAMs the Boston area. And by the time we're getting into Wednesday evening, it really is clearing out with some lingering snow for just about all of the Northeast as possible. So, with that being said, 15 minutes in, we hadn't even talked about the snowfall accumulations. So, I'm not going to stay on this long and break down each individual over and over again. This is the European, okay? Notice, insane, this is an operational run, guys, so it's going to show crazy totals. But highlights this area, and what is it? The Catskills, the Berkshires, and the Worcester Hills, okay, where there's higher pockets of elevation right in here, where I think each individual area could get over 2 feet of snow, depending on where you are, okay? So that's the Euro. Stop it if you want. That's what the Euro is saying. All right, this is the European ensemble, which I feel like is a better thing to look at here. But stop it if you need to. Going for 8 inches in Chicago, going for a few inches in New York City, going for over a foot in all of these higher elevations, 1.5 feet here in this section of these higher elevation mountains. In New York State, the Poconos, going for a lot. Okay, the GFS. We are now in range of it, so let's get in motion right here. The GFS, kind of a different look. It really does not hit New York City very hard. Gives them maybe an inch. And it definitely kind of doesn't give a lot of the coastal regions of Connecticut a lot of snow either. But it's still snowing, all the way out to Thursday morning. But it gives a little over a foot for Boston. Gives just about everybody in Massachusetts a foot of snow at least. Southern areas of Vermont and New Hampshire get pockets of over 2 feet from the GFS. Okay, but you got to get way up in northern New Jersey and northeast Pennsylvania to get appreciable snow in these states. Okay, and the GFS ensemble. This is from 12Z, but this is what it shows. Same kind of areas, guys. It's not really budging, okay? The HRRR model, 48 hours out, dumps several inches of snow on Boston in like a 4-hour period. But with this secondary low forming, completely gyps New York City. Okay, but look at these areas. I think the HRRR model is well overdone. But a lot of people have requested to show individual model runs. Here they are. They're always going to be wild and off the charts here, but here they are. The NAM really likes Massachusetts, Southeast Mass, and puts 2 feet of snow for you folks. But shows these pockets also very well of heavier snow with these elevation-driven areas in it. It gives New York City 3, 4, 5 inches of snow. Chances to see 6 inches of snow. We'll actually talk about this towards the end. So let's move this up. So what we're going to do here, this is different. I think a lot of you folks have watched this, and I really hope that people have stayed all the way through this video because I feel like this is going to help a lot of people. So National Weather Service out of Buffalo, they're calling for about 3 to 4 inches in Buffalo. This is pretty wild considering the fact that the nor'easter is all the way on the coastal region. But 3 to 4 inches of snow in Buffalo, more snow south of Buffalo. And find your city in this region. This is how much snow you're expecting. Watertown, 4 to 6 inches of snow. And Rochester, 4 to 6 inches of snow. I'm trying to sound like somebody from the north. I'm trying, guys. It's worth a shot. But this is what they're showing for the National Weather Service in Buffalo. The National Weather Service in Binghamton. I think this would include a lot more people. They're going for around 8 to 12 inches of snow in Binghamton. This is a big event. The Poconos getting hit pretty good with anywhere from a foot to a foot and a half of snow. Okay, find your community here. Scranton going for 8 to 12 inches of snow. A lot of snow even in this area. Syracuse, 8 to 12 inches of snow. So, this area is going to get hit hard. Pause it if you need to. Hopefully you can see it pretty good on your video. But this is the National Weather Service forecast for this area. These are the professionals. All right, we'll move to the next one. This is the National Weather Service in Mount Holly, which includes areas of the Poconos and New Jersey. It does not include New York City. We'll include that in a second. They're going for, maybe you guys could squeeze in something less than an inch in Philadelphia. It's possible. Allentown, Pennsylvania, 1 to 2 inches, but you go up to old Mount Pocono, a foot to a foot and a half of snow, because this is when the elevation increases in these regions up here. Moorestown going for 2 to 3 inches of snow. So, I know this is a much smaller area, but snow is possible. And I'm not telling you, I'm not going to say, these guys could get snow down here. Okay, it's very possible. Some of these models are showing snow down here. My folks in New York City, they're going for 2 to 3 inches of snow in New York City. All right. I think that would be one of your biggest snows of the year. But there could be a big high boom, or there is a chance you get absolutely nothing in New York City. There's a chance you can get a half a foot of snow in New York City also. Okay? A lot of people have asked around these coastal regions of Connecticut. This is a tricky, very, very tricky area right into here. And stick with your locals. I know a lot of people like to comment, and it means the world to me. It does. It means a lot that when you say this, but at the same time, I think it's just the fact that these local meteorologists, they don't get a lot of time to talk on the weather. I'm just a YouTuber. I can get on here and spend as much time as I want on here. A lot of these people on these local, like you're on your local television, things like that, they only get about 3 or 4 minutes to talk about the weather. I mean, when we have a big event like this, they might get maybe 5 minutes. So they can't really dive into details when it comes to snowfall forecasts. So they can't give you the detailed whys and things like that. So when it does not verify, a lot of people are going to ask what happened. Well, chances are the meteorologists don't even have time to explain what happened because they don't get a lot of on-air time, basically. But anyways, this is a tough area, and I would stick to your local forecast, and I would honestly aim low. For you folks, New Haven, Bridgeport, New London, for you folks down here south of Hartford will be a different story. But you don't have to go far to get a lot of snow, okay? You start to increase a little bit of elevation, get a little kind of inland, you start to get into half a foot snowfall totals, all right? Tough area right into here. Move up into the National Weather Service in Albany. This will be an area that's hit very hard. Albany going for 12 to 8 inches of snow. But let me tell you, if you actually go to the National Weather Service in Albany website, they mentioned that this area right in here where the valley is could be a victim to downsloping, which basically means, in a nutshell, sometimes you get a little bit of warm air that gets trapped or kind of mixed into the equation. And just the fact that it's lower elevation, it's going to switch to snow a little bit later, right? When you get outside the valleys and the higher elevations right here and all these communities right here in the Catskill Mountains, that's when you get more snow. That's where someone's going to get over 2 feet of snow. Okay, this does include very small sections right here of Massachusetts. All right, so, Pittsfield, 12 to 8 inches of snow. Otis, hopefully that's the way you pronounce that, 18 to 24 inches of snow. All right, let's talk about, oh man, don't do that to me. Let's talk about you folks. We're going to have to, let's see if we can fix this. Let's expand this. All right, here. You folks up here in Burlington, I'll show you guys some love too. Look at the valleys. They're not giving you guys a lot. But this also is because there's just not going to be a lot of precipitation that gets up here. But this is what Vermont looks like. Manchester going for 13 inches of snow. Very exact of them to say. Up here in the Adirondacks, certainly not a ton of snow just due to the fact that you're just not, a lot of the heavy precipitation ain't going to get up here. You go on and switch it to Boston. A lot of people are wondering about this area. So this is the National Weather Service in Boston. This was at 5:11, so only about an hour ago. Latest information, hey, National Weather Service going for 8 to 12 inches of snow in Boston. So, they're going for the higher amounts. Providence going for around 6 inches of snow. Man, I am brain farting here. Pittsfield, like I already mentioned, 8 to 24 inches of snow. Hartford, 3 to 4 inches of snow. Someone could get more than this in this area, though. I'm telling you, Springfield, 6 to 8 inches of snow. So, we'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happened. Worcester, I don't know how you get Worcester out of that. I really don't. Worcester. We're going to head over to Worcester and get 8 to 12 inches of snow. I'm not. It's not a joke. I know you guys joke on us here in the South too. Trust me, this is an area of the country I really want to visit in the fall. I really, really want to visit this area. That is certainly a bucket list place I want to visit in October, September, things like that. And I just want to come up here during one of these events, during a nor'easter. I love the Northeast. I've never even been there. I've been the most far north I've been is Scranton, Pennsylvania. And when I chased the nor'easter back in December of 2020, but people laugh at me when I tell them if there was one region of the country I would love to live, it'd be the Northeast. But I just, I would trade all the beaches and things like that to live up in the higher elevations. But anyways, let me get off that. But I was trying to make this a little bit bigger for you folks here in Maine and New Hampshire. But this is what they're saying for New Hampshire, Manchester, 8 to 12 inches of snow. Portland, 8 to 12 inches of snow. Trying to name some bigger name cities. But, I mean, you see the cities on here. This is what your National Weather Service is showing. Stick to the locals. You go up here to Maine. This is what they're saying for you folks. Down east areas, a good anywhere from 6 to 10 inches of snow, but 6 to 8 inches is the common thing. You get up here a little bit higher north of northern sections of Maine, just lighter amounts just due to the fact that, you're just not going to get a lot of precipitation up here. So I really hope that helps, guys. I really do. I just did something different there. I did it a couple weeks back with a system out to the west, but chances to see 6 inches of snow based off the European ensemble in the red, that's pretty much 100% chance, 90 to 100% chance to see it. And, Boston, you got a good 60 to 70% chance to see it. You look at chances to see 12 inches of snow, pretty high in these areas, guys. And I'll go all the way to 24 inches. That's 2 feet of snow. Catskills, certainly, favorite area that you almost got about a 40 to 50% chance to see 24 inches of snow. So it's going to happen for somebody. Let's briefly talk about winds. And I want to mention my folks here in the mid-Atlantic, like Washington, D.C., these areas. It's going to be very windy coming up. We're getting into Monday afternoon. Winds begin to pick up out the northwest. Gets very breezy Monday night. We're waking up Tuesday morning to a 30 to 40 mile per hour wind gusts in and around Baltimore and Washington, D.C., northern VA, western areas of West Virginia, all of Maryland, the Delmarva area, 30 to 40 mile per hour wind gusts. This does nothing but try to increase some of these higher elevations of Virginia, West Virginia. Is going to reach probably tropical storm force wind gusts easily, probably 50, 60 mile per hour winds. And this will begin to lighten up as we get into our Thursday evening, but very windy times certainly expected. We go to my folks up here and the, let's see, let's go to Massachusetts here. Folks up here could definitely have blizzard conditions. Winds will start to pick up as early as tomorrow evening. For southern New England in general. Long Island, you'll begin to gust to 20, 30 miles per hour. But as we're getting into, I would say, Tuesday morning, it's already snowing in these areas right in here, just about 30, 40, 45 mile per hour wind gust. Right when you switch to snow, I'm thinking that's when the winds really pick up for Boston. So I'll stop it right here. Tuesday afternoon, you're switching to all snow. This is when you will have a period of blizzard conditions for this very small coastal section of New Hampshire, southern coastal regions of Maine, all of eastern Massachusetts. Even go back here to western Mass. You're getting 20, 30 mile per hour wind gusts with heavy wet snow falling off Connecticut, Rhode Island. This is going to cause power outages with heavy wet snow flying around here. And it is going to be a rocky evening, Tuesday evening. And you get all the way into literally, this is 8 p.m. Tuesday evening. 40 to 50, almost 60 mile per hour wind gusts in all of southeast, southern New England. And it is at rocking and rolling here with all out nor'easter conditions, blizzard conditions ongoing. I would not be surprised one bit if you have winter storm watches upgraded to blizzard warnings for a few counties right into here. Wouldn't be surprised one bit, but certainly very strong winds, even for areas in the coastal areas of Maine. So, guys, I really hope that helped you all out. Try to get as detailed as possible. But that's all I got, guys. God bless all y'all. Have yourselves a great evening. And have fun up there tomorrow. I'm going to give you some more updates tomorrow. But that was really the last extremely detailed video of this event. Of course, we'll get detailed tomorrow. But definitely pulling for you folks. Winter's about to be over. So it's mid-March. It's been lackluster. I've been I've had the honor of talking about everybody else getting winter weather except us in the Southeast, and it's been fun. But hope you guys get slammed up here. Who want to get slammed? Not everybody does, but for you folks that don't, I wish that your house gets less snow than everybody else. But God bless all y'all. Have a great night, and I'll talk to you in the morning.